I do want to segue a little from this, and we'll come back to DDP Yoga before it's over, but I have to ask you this question because we were discussing it before you came on the air tonight, and it's somebody that you know very well from your time in WCW. We all got the sad news today that Brad Armstrong passed away, and I wanted to get your thoughts.
Oh, God. Bum, man.
Yeah, I know.
All the Armstrong boys from the dad on out, classiest cats on the planet. Good-hearted, amazing wrestlers. I was with Jake when I heard the news, and it was, shook our head, like Brad Armstrong was one of the few guys that back when I was trying to be Diamond Dallas Page the wrestler, everybody laughed at me. He was one of the few guys that would come down. It was a ring in Marietta. And Brad came down there probably about 9 different times and worked out with me and taught me stuff. And I never forgot that. I mean, it was very big of him to give his time because he was, I mean, if I take top 5 guys in the world, I would put him up there as a worker of one of the best guys ever. I mean, he was right up there with Steamboat. He didn't have the past, some of those, smaller federations like Continental League or when Georgia was just Georgia Championship Wrestling. He didn't get, he got to some decent heights with that. He didn't really hit it on the mainstream big world, but he was amazing. He was a very, very, very charismatic cat. In the back, he could impersonate anybody. He might be a black guy from the hood one moment. He might be a redneck from Mississippi and next. He might be someone from England. He might be from South Africa. I mean, he could do so many characters. I actually had an idea, and I said, Brad, I know you're going to think I'm ribbing you, but I swear to God, I will pitch this idea to Bischoff hard as hell and get him to go for it if you would do it. And my idea was that he's wrestling someone like Vader, and at some point he gets his head boffed so hard, off the ground, whatever, that they cart him away, and they're going back, and they come back to him. And when he wakes up, he's, redneck from Mississippi. And he's this amazing talker, and he could really rap. He could really talk, especially in the back. He never got the opportunity out there because I don't think he had that character to beat. I thought this would have given him that character to beat, and then boom, something he's on a winning streak, and then boom, he bangs his head again, and now he's a rapper. And everything he does is like rap because he can really rap. And then boom, he gets his head again. Then he's from London. And I mean, he's multiple of characters. And he wasn't really that into it. But I thought, God, but you have so much charisma. You have so much talent, dude. I really want him to do that. Just because I think he would have been over huge. But he never really thought it was as great an idea as I did. But he was my point is was a very, very, very talented guy. And last time I saw him was at an airport. And we just happened to be right off the same gate going back to Atlanta. Sat down and talked for about 45 minutes before the plane got there, and last time I talked to him. But he was a very special cat.
That's what we hear from everybody who talks about him. I've listened to several different interviews about him today, and 2 things that you brought up that come up over and over again are, 1, how beloved he was backstage by everybody who knew him, and 2, how everybody always thought this was a guy with so much talent that he was underutilized in the wrestling business. Nobody took advantage of how talented he truly was.
Yeah, he would have been someone who said people who should have made it in a big way but didn't. Who's your top 5? He would be number 1. He would really be number 1.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. The other thing Sierra and I were saying before you came on was that when people like Brad Armstrong with so much knowledge pass away, it's a part of that business that can never be gotten back, that there's a generation of wrestlers that could learn so much from Brad Armstrong that now won't have that opportunity to sit at the learning tree with him.
Yeah, he'll be missed. I feel so bad for his dad. Oh, my God. And his brother.
Yeah, that whole Armstrong family.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're so classy, man.
Yeah, they're pillars of wrestling. So we feel heavy-hearted today talking about it, and our condolences go out to them. But we also know it's a tough time in general for a lot of people with the whole East Coast Frankenstorm situation, and it's it obviously it affected some people more than others, but it's a time where it's hard to even concentrate on one thing because you got so much tragedy and devastation going on there, and then you lose somebody in the wrestling world. It's like your focus is torn in a million different directions.
Yeah, it's a shame. My family got hit pretty hard by that storm. My mom lost a lot of her stuff because they just got into the water. They live on the water, so anybody who lived on the water totally got jammed.
Well, yeah, and that's why I bring that up, because people know you're a Jersey guy, and so much of New Jersey just got absolutely blown away in this storm. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, really bad. Hurt a lot of people. That's Mother Nature, man.
Yeah, well,
I just thank God that it was. When I think, look how much can this storm do? It's not even a 1. What hit New Orleans was a 5. Now looking back and not realizing how flat the land is there in New York and the subway system. I was in New York. I left Sunday night. I was there for a week. I was there for a fitness fair. Oh man, I literally just left and got out of there knowing it was coming. I was like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of this, a storm. That's all I thought it was. And it wasn't even a 1, but man, if a 3 would have hit that same spot, who knows what would happen, period. Who knows?
Right.
It could really be bad. We're sort of blessed, that it was only a 1.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Really,
I think we can all be thankful that it wasn't a stronger storm and that it wasn't worse, but